First free application which is available without any subscription. So let me take you to the portal here, and you can see here these are the applications. If I click on firewall, you can see what type of reports are available. So these will be the reports which will be available in firewall section. Here you can see the matrices, quick matrices here. This is the overview of it. But if you want to configure anything, so I'll just click on rules. You will see here these are the rules which are by default created. So what I can do, I can create a rule and its description will be block everything from external to internal. So for example, this will be a block rule, and what I'll do, I will add a condition. So source interface is WAN, and I will add a condition destination interface is LAN. So anything that comes from WAN to LAN will be blocked. So if I add this rule, I can add this on top. So all other rules will be ignored. First, this rule will be taken care of. So you can see here that block everything from external to internal, and what is there? You can see it is blocking. Of course, you can go to the protocol levels also. So if you don't define explicitly the protocol, it will block all the protocols. Otherwise, you can choose the protocol also, and protocol will be TCP and UDP both. Then you can of course add the source address and destination address, but I will just add it and save it. Now what it does, that in the firewall now the rule is created that anything that comes from WAN to LAN is blocked. I can also block it. Now for example, if I try to ping google.com and let me continuously ping it, so you can see I'm getting the response. Now in case I want to create a rule, I will create a rule from LAN to WAN also, that block everything from LAN to WAN. I will add the source interface is LAN and destination interface is WAN. So what I'm doing here, I'm blocking this and add. Now I will again add this to top. Anything from WAN to LAN is blocked, anything from LAN to WAN is blocked. So everything is blocked from LAN to WAN and from WAN to LAN. Now you can see here, if I ping this again, now I'm getting timeout. Google.com, of course, DNS is provided by the Arista, which is my local address, but I can't access anything outside. And if I try to open anything, for example, syncbricks.com, of course, nothing will open here because this has blocked now. So you can start allowing the rules. So what I'll do, I will, for example, create a rule that allowed ports from internal to external. So I will be using source interface is LAN, and then I will do the destination interface is WAN, and I will add destination port is 80,443. So these two ports are allowed. So I will just mention done, and if I bring this on top, LAN to WAN is now allowed, but it is not blocked, but only port 80 and 443 means HTTP and HTTPS is allowed. Now even if I try to ping again, if I try to ping google.com, it will not allow because we have not enabled the ICMP traffic. We have only allowed 80 and 443. So if I open again syncbricks.com, it should work now. The reason is because port 80 and 443 is open. So it is very strict now, strict policy in a sense that only 80 and 443 traffic is allowed. From external to internal, everything is blocked. Internal to external also everything is blocked, but only port 80 and 443 are open. I can also open, for example, in case I want to open FTP port also and SSH port also. These can be enabled, and now you can have the maximum security with the firewall. And here you can also see the reports. It will show you what is happening. Now if you see the statistics, you will see in statistics there were total these many session requests, and these many sessions were blocked, these many sessions were flagged, and these many sessions were passed. Of course, it was working when everything was enabled, but if I go back here to reports in firewall, I can see scanned sessions. You can see here these are the sessions. You can see here all these reports. So top scanned host name, top flagged clients, top scanned username. Of course, we are not using any users here right now. if you are having captive portals, so you will be able to see those users also. So on which ports the request was going, of course, initially when we configured to block everything, so 80 and 443 were blocked. Now, of course, from internal to external, so there are applications which are trying to access. Now, for example, I'm using warp also by Cloudflare. Here is warp. If I try to connect this, it is not connecting. The reason is because it is also trying to access the port from internal to external, block the applications which are not supposed to be used within the corporate environment or within your network. So I can now see which port this particular application is trying to access. First of all, disable this so that it will not try to connect. So here we can just go with warp, and you will see here that which IP addresses it should use and which DNS it should use. And let me try to open this port also from my allowed ports. So I want to allow. The best way will be that I will just do here that from I will make it Cloudflare allowed. So it will be source interface will be LAN and destination interface will be WAN. Then I'll also mention the destination address also. Destination address, so I can add the IP addresses of VARPs. So this is the destination network. I will be adding these addresses for IPv4. So it will be destination address is this, and this will be a network address. And also we will add 1.1.1.1, which is the DNS address for the Cloudflare. We will also address 1.0.0.1. These are the DNS server addresses for the Cloudflare. So let us see with this if it works. Of course, you need to refer to the documentation which is provided by Cloudflare. So let us try to open this again. And you can of course see in the firewall that what is being blocked and what the user is trying to access. And in case you want to see the details, I will just click on blocked events, and in blocked events I can just look for Amjad Zenbook. These will be all the host names which are there and what the host name is trying to access. You can see here the server port is 8094, which is blocked. And the IP address is 162.159.8, means that this particular port is being blocked. Let us see this again. If I go back, let me open this in a new tab, and I will click on the rule that we have created, and this was a Cloudflare WireGuard. And let's see if this IP address is matching there. You can see here 162.193, here is 193 also, 198 is also being used. So it means that this particular IP address is also required here. So I can change it to maybe 16 and it will be 159 maybe .0.0. So all the networks will be allowed for this particular range. And what was the port which is blocked? So we can see here port 8095. So we can also enable 8095. So let's see if that works. All right, so let's try this again. So we'll be able to check the session again. Let's refresh this and we'll see what it is trying to access. So it is trying to access the server port 500 also, which is blocked. So it means that Cloudflare is also looking for port 500. So we will also enable that. And here we go. Let us try again. And let's see which other ports it is blocking. All right, so other ports are not blocked here. 443 is required also, 8443, 4500, 8443 and 4443. These are destination ports, TCP and UDP both. Let's see this now again. It should now, you can see here it got connected. Here we have allowed this application to access the application outside. You can see here destination address is only this, which means that we have allowed these ports to only Cloudflare IP addresses. So if you have any other application also where you want to give the access, for example, if you want to allow only the HTTP and HTTPS to specific IP addresses or specific websites or IP addresses, so you can only allow that using this particular rule. Right now on this network, you can see everything is blocked from inside to outside and everything is blocked from outside to inside using these two rules. And then we have allowed only port 80, 443, 21 and 22 because 53 port is for the DNS and that port is already enabled on local network. So I don't want the users to get the DNS from outside. I want them to have the DNS only from the Arista firewall. That's why that destination port is also blocked. Similarly, you can start enabling more ports to specific destination. So I'll be covering some more rules also depending upon the needs, and this is the way you can create the rules. So I will just show you again a quick recap. Click on add, give the description of that, and then from here you can choose various aspects. So destination address, destination port and destination interface, source address, source port and protocol. You can add the tag also to it, whether there is a specific username for which you want to create the rule, specific host name you want to create the rule. If the server country is, for example, a specific country, any server from that country will be blocked. They will not be able to access the network. So this way you can also even create the country specific rule also. The traffic to or traffic from can be allowed. Server address reputation, server address category, so these can also be taken care of. So if the server is trustworthy, moderate and all of that. So in firewall also you can create those rules. If I want to allow everything from internal to external, I want to block non-reputed servers. Add the condition, source interface is LAN, destination interface is WAN, and what I want to block server address reputation. I will say suspicious and high risk. I will block the access to these servers. From internal to external, and of course from external to internal, everything is blocked. So I will bring the reputation on top so that we don't get the access to these suspicious or high risk servers. So I will just go back here, save the changes. Now you can enable the maximum security with the help of firewall. So this was all about firewall, which is most important section in any next generation firewall. And in Arista, we are using this particular firewall application. So this was all about the firewall in Arista Next Generation Firewall. I have tried to cover all the basics, and I have tried to make sure that if you are having the basic understanding of creating the rules, this particular section will help you to understand what to allow, what to block, and what kind of different rules can be created to block inbound and outbound traffic, to create the rule, to reject the traffic, to pass the traffic, and so on. If you want me to cover any specific aspect, you can definitely mention them. You can message them, you can email me. I will be making a new video specific to your requirements and I'll be uploading that. So let's continue to the next lecture now.